Junior Mutula has just mentioned. That is a correct approach that should be taken when false utterances are made against leaders. Scrutiny and investigations by the relevant agencies are hence crucial and of paramount importance. This is the only way to defeat the lies repeated who seek to create an artificial reality for Kenyans. Today, the truth illuminated itself and the lies have been exposed. The DCI has found zero evidence of wrongdoing on my part. This reflects my principles and values in life that you do not need to steal to become relevant in society. Indeed, hard work always pays. Fellow Kenyans, at the moment, I'm not in government. I'm working to lead this nation so as to champion your rights and protect your wealth for the future well-being of our country. Kenyans must be wise and seek clarity from vote seekers about real truths. Truths about their possessions and their public service track records. We cannot have a man who dips his hand into the cookie jar at every single opportunity and at the same time present himself as a messiah. I therefore insist that lifestyle audit must be made compulsory before one is cleared to contest for public office in the upcoming general elections. This should be across board, not just those seeking the high office of the President of the Republic, but all up to the level of MCAs. When President, I will ensure that this becomes a prerequisite for all government appointments. And I know that President Uhuru did talk about lifestyle audit, but I think Parliament must accept that they failed Kenyans with regard to the matter of bringing onto the floor both the House, the National Assembly, and the Senate, the regulations governing lifestyle audit. Therefore, this must become a priority. I will also recover stolen money and inject it into projects that benefit the youth. Today, millions of youth continue to be saddled with student loans in the midst of biting unemployment. If we tame the greed by leaders, we will release billions of shillings into the economy and create jobs for our people. We cannot have a man who has looted our coffers and cabal of his allies who are facing serious economic crimes ascend to power. They are not seeking the presidency to serve Kenyans, but to protect their ill-gotten wealth. Similar to the landmark elections of 2002, exactly 20 years ago. And I must say similar to what has just happened in Zambia, where the result was so overwhelming. The young people wanting to take back their country went out and voted in droves for change. It will be the coming of age for many young people in our nation. I intend to speak to the youth emphatically about the power of their vote in determining their future. As a public servant who has had the opportunity to serve this nation in various capacities within government, including being our country's 10th vice president, I have always been guided by the principles of truth and justice. We cannot fathom a country where corruption becomes a way of life. We will wage an aggressive war against all those who have impoverished our country through relentless looting. To demonstrate our commitment on the war against corruption, I will establish, and I said this when we are launching this command center, the Office of the Protector of Public Interest, domiciled in the Office of the President, to complement the work of the EACC in confronting corruption in our public sector. We will also establish a State Capture Commission of Inquiry and lay bare to Kenyans the extent of the looting undertaken by those invoking the name of God to hoodwink Kenyans. And please notice, some of us are serious believers. And this does offend our own concept of what divinity is all about. This commission will be time-bound, and its recommendations will be acted upon by the DPP to institute prosecutions and institute an aggressive asset recovery campaign against enemies of the state. we must come to the painful realization that irrespective of how well we grow, unless we tame the gossip, and I mean taming it, we will never realize our potential as a nation. Corruption poses the greatest risk to our motherland, both economically and security-wise. If we make a mistake and allow these characters anywhere close to power, we will have killed the soul of our nation, and the consequences of it will be devilish for many decades to come. Fellow Kenyans, as he preaches a false hustler narrative, today the Deputy President owns 5 high-end helicopters piloted by white captains with an exclusive grabbed hangar at Wilson Airport. The ADC land, that is Agricultural Development Corporation land, in Laikipia was grabbed by William Ruto and must revert back to the state. He also took a loan at AFC to irregularly obtain land belonging to the former vice president. In fact, those who read the history of our countries, I think first Vice President Joe Murumbi will know that he was a political saint. This land is actually village land in Kilgoris, has also been similarly taken away. The National Land Commission made a finding that Western Hotels sits on land belonging to the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority. An attempt was even made to grab the land belonging to Langata Road Primary School. Poor kids, who doesn't remember them being tear-gassed so the land can be grabbed? And we stood firm with those children, Kenyan children, who have a right to school, to go to school. Imagine tear-gassing little kids to be able to satisfy what is clearly insatiable greed for land. The list is actually endless. We owe it to ourselves and the future generations to rid this country of corruption, which has plagued our economy, and to re-engineer our economy towards double-digit growth, better than when I was His Excellency Mwai Kibaki's Vice President. According to President Uhuru Kenyatta, we lose over 2 billion shillings a day of hard-earned taxpayers' money to thievery. Remember High Commissioner Edward Clay, when he once talked about that. I wanted to talk about even the land belonging to a Kenyan who has since passed away, Mr. Muteshi, in Eldoret, 100 acres, gone. And even a criminal finding was actually made. I think there was an appeal. But an appeal is just an appeal. Today, fellow countrymen, I candidly put it to you, we must stop this vice once and for all. Na kutoka leo, jameni, tutamaliza wizi. Na wezi vile vile. Ndio tukasema, in fact, I think Deputy President gleefully said, sisi wana Wiper, tulikuwa tukisema kazi bila wizi. Akasema kwa sababu ya hii mambo ya yata, ati ni wizi bila kazi. We have made and put the record straight. Kwa hivyo hatuna, that's why I don't even want to speak much. I've made my statement clearly, hard-hitting, deliberately. Because we must bring to end this political nonsense. Or people stealing, yani mtu anaiba, kwa sababu ni mwizi, anaona watu wanakimbia, mwizi yule, mwizi, ndio yule, yeye ndiye mwizi. Mungu abariki Kenya yetu, awabariki vile vile nyinyi nyote. Let us actually cultivate a culture under Chapter 6 of our country's constitution. Because if we don't do it, we'll have no country in the years to come. Asanteni. And one final thing about the ruling by the Court of Appeal judges. Of course, we continue to internalize this finding. As we speak, we lost a county member of Makueni County Assembly through a tragic road accident. And this road between Nairobi and Mombasa continues to kill a lot of our people. So dualizing it will be a very, very urgent, important, very, very important undertaking for us. But then there's a by-election. In fact, I think our candidate is trying to present some papers at Makindu. But I asked myself the question, because we are supposed to win that by-election. It's not a big issue. And our team's on the ground, in fact, led by Senator Kavindu, I think, and others today were in Makindu. But in the light of this finding, we have no doubt that Wiper will win that seat. But in the light of this finding about the quorum of IEBC, I want to challenge IEBC themselves to come out on this matter, because I think there are several others, 2 or 3, by elections. Let them come out and pronounce themselves in the light of the judgment by the Court of Appeal, whether they can actually validly conduct these by-elections now. I would like to imagine the law, the finding may not apply retroactively, and therefore the yesteryear or yestermonth's by-elections can stand. But now, in the light of this finding and the absence of an appeal, is the IBC in order to continue with this by-election. We don't want to win on October 14, and then somebody will go to court and say, Wiper did not win. It's important that this matter be clarified. Kama kuna maswali, mimi sitaki kuulizwa maswali, nimesema yangu. Senator Wambua can speak, or Dan Maanzo here, and that is, of course, Mheshimiwa Kiala, former Deputy Governor of Machakos County, Mheshimiwa Mawadhe, member for Mbakasi. They can take some questions, if indeed you have any. Lakini in the face of what I've just said, are you sure you want to ask any question?
Yes. I am ready.
Yes, sir.
My name is Musa from TV47.
Yes, Musa.
From what you said, you say that the Deputy President is incapacitated to lead the country. Several leaders...
I wouldn't put it that way.
All right.
Yeah.
Several leaders have called for the resignation, including President Uhuru Kenyatta. Would you say it is time for the Deputy President to resign?
You see, that's a Jubilee issue. If he has a conscience, he should. If there's any conscience in him. But if he has a heart of stone, then you continue to see the posturing by others. We don't intend to leave this matter here, by the way, because my rights as a Kenyan citizen were violated by this pronouncement. My legal team is still exploring other, because, for instance, heavy damages, I think, are clearly to be considered, including whatever other legal remedies we may want to pursue. So it's up to him. If he has any conscience in him, he can resign. Or fail to resign, as he has said. Because he says a vision. It's a man on a vision, on a mission. A vision to steal, and a mission to completely get your country under the radar. No. Tumesema tutazungumza na tumeanza, tutazungumza yote liwe liwalo. Yes, sir. Kennedy.
Party leader, in saying that you have been exonerated by the DCI of all the charges that have been there, you've gone ahead to make charges against that person whom you are seeking to have held responsible. Do you in any way have evidence to substantiate what you have just said about the deputy president?
Yeah, those things I'm ready. I'm ready. Some of them are matters of public record. Go and talk to the managing director of AFC, for instance. I will tell you, they were forced to lend 200 million shillings to buy this land, which was originally owned by Criticals, in Taita Taveta, and diverted water meant by poor wananchi to his farm. That is land publicly we should have reverted to the county of Taita Taveta. 200 million, board forced to lend. I think I should take instructions, I'm still senior counsel, to demand that this money be repaid. This is public land. Yeah, who doesn't know the story about Langata Primary School? Do I need to give you evidence? You were there. Saw kids being tear gassed. And who doesn't know the story of Weston? We saw there. So I am pursuing this matter legally because I think when the chips are down, we have a country to look after. We have a whole generation to protect against manipulation. When I talk about those helicopters, who doesn't know? Complete anger there. Yeah, just go with your camera. I'll show you. If you don't know what it is. And the white pilots to boot. As if our own young people are not qualified to fly those helicopters.
So on this other question of what you said last week, taking legal action, is it a matter that you're still exploring in the Shaiva and
No, we'll work on that. I told you that's work under progress. Yeah, we will. We will be talking. When we do, we'll let you know what is the next course of action. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sasa hiyo nadhani itawasaidia kesho, leo na kesho kutwa.
Asante.